T-minus 10 minutes. T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. minus 7 minutes. Minus 6 minutes. Minus 5 minutes. Minus for minutes. Minus 3 minutes. T-minus 2 minutes. T-minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Yep, giddy up, go, Daddy, giddy up, go. Welcome to the RP Show. It's a very special day because it's a Wednesday. And you know what that means. I hope you would know by now that it's just me solo in hour one. And then in hour two, we'll be joined by my very dear friend, Randy Grimes, the sober center. 12 seasons with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a center, a founder of Athletes in Recovery. We got a lot of things to talk about NFL-wise with the sober center. Randy Grimes is going to be joining us from Houston, Texas. You're finding out, aren't you, over the last little while, who some of my dear friends are. I'm still relishing the fallout, if you will, from yesterday's show, and I'm going to tell you it was, if not the best birthday of my life, probably one of the best birthdays of my life, and at the sake of sounding like a 10-year-old, it was great. But the surprise visit from Sarah Palin, just so you know, I was talking to my good friend Marion this morning. She's in Arizona, and she was like, oh, wow, you did a really good job interviewing Sarah Palin. And I'm like, well, Ron had threatened for quite some time that might happen. So I was just ready to go. If there was ever a day that we had Ron Duguay on, that he would bring on his partner, Sarah Palin, that I would have some questions ready for her. And it was a very fun day yesterday, plus a lot of other things I'll get into why it was awesome. But you know what? Today's a new day, and this is going to be awesome too. But as we get into the Quick Six Show topics and we open with the big story, I think we're going to open with hockey here. There is breaking news from the NFL as well that you're going to be interested. Breaking news from within about an hour ago, but we've got so many viewers in the Edmonton area and the Oiler Nation. I want your take on last night's game. It was definitely the game of the night. Connor McDavid had 2 goals, 2 assists. Leon Draisaitl had 4 assists, and the visiting Edmonton Oilers beat the Pittsburgh Penguins 6-4 Tuesday in Pennsylvania. Draisaitl became the first German-born player to record 1,000 points in the NHL on the Oilers' opening goal. He finished tonight with 1,003 points. Pens netminder Stuart Skinner stopped 17 of 22 shots against his former team, while former Penguin goalie Tristan Jarry stopped 26 of 30 for the Oilers. That was one of 10 games on the night, but I told you that I was going to rush home. I had a meeting that I forgot about, but rushed home. It was over by the time I turned it on, and that was near the end of the first period. It was a tough watch. I'm a goalie guy, as you know. I'm a Stuart Skinner fan, and yeah, I have that admirable yet annoying trait of empathy. I just felt terrible for Stuart Skinner. Did you? I mean, This would have been a great poll question yesterday. And just so you know, as I said, I'm, as you can see, solo here for all of hour one. So I'm kind of soliciting you as the co-host. The viewers get to be the co-host here. I want your take on a lot of the opinions I'm going to throw out here, a lot of the stories I'm going to throw out here. But it would have made a great poll question yesterday. Who has the advantage in this showdown? Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl or Stuart Skinner? Because they know each other for so long. They played together for so long in practice. And then I thought, wow, we didn't do that. We went with a poll question yesterday for EMJ Marketing of what's the harder position to play, NHL goalie or NFL CFL quarterback, which somewhat surprisingly, the results came out on that one almost 50-50. I'd have to go back and check exactly what it was. But anyways, that was yesterday's. And then I thought this morning, well, you could still ask that question. Who had the advantage last night, McDavid and Draisaitl or Stu? But then I'm like, the indication of the score tells you the answer to that. The Oilers shooters had the advantage. And 6-4 was the victory for the Edmonton Oilers. I picked Edmonton to win. Scruffy picked Pittsburgh. And he is one of the biggest Oiler fans that I know. But it's hard when you're betting on your team or picking your team. Okay. Well, the viewers have showed up and they're helping out. Bill writes in from the Queen City. He says, good morning, crew. It was a sloppy game, but the Leafs won. Okay. I want to hear from everybody on this. And also the poll question tonight is, what is the game of the night? Poll question for the show is, what's the game of the night? I'm going to get to tonight's games a little later on here in the Quick Six show topics, but we're not there yet. Macklin Stutterbrini had 2 goals and 2 assists. Barclay Goodrow scored twice, and the San Jose Sharks knocked off the visiting Calgary Flames 6-3. Scruffy and I both picked that one. Just so you know, I had 8 of 10 correct picks last night. Mitchell had 7 of 10 right, and I'm just going to do a little victory lap because I rarely beat Scruffy at anything betting related. The guy knows his stuff. Evander Kane, Liam Ogren, and Connor Garland scored. Thatcher Demko made 23 saves, and the visiting Vancouver Canucks blanked the New York Rangers 3-1 at MSG. Didn't see that one coming. The game that Bill is referring to, Austin Matthews and Dakota Joshua scored goals 8 seconds apart late in the third, and the Maple Leafs rallied to beat the visiting Chicago Blackhawks 3-2. I was following that game, not watching that game. I saw that Chicago had the lead. I'm like, they're not going to pull this off. Especially without Bedard, are they? And they didn't. Big win for the Leafs. And the visiting Philadelphia Flyers spotted the Montreal Canadiens an early lead before storming back to record a 4-1 NHL victory. Those were some of the Tuesday games, but I'll say it again. Who is it elementary to say who had the advantage? Did Stu Skinner psych himself out going into that game? Because it kind of looked like he did. I just felt bad for him. The one thing I did say yesterday, a lot of you were watching, I said, this ain't going to be a 1-0 game. I think I said 6-5, and it ended up 6-4. Oh, boy, this is going fast. It always does when it's just us. Vancouver Eric writes in, he says, the offense makes all the decisions first. Defense has to react. Advantage shooter. I think that's for sure you're right. Absolutely. But and again, that's what I love about the discussion here today. It's a sports show, and all topics are on the table, and I'm interested to hear everybody's opinion, believe it or not, except for the political ones. I got a lot of notes written down here that I'm going to get to, including, so Sarah Palin jumps on this show, 4 million followers on Facebook, potentially the next president of the United States of America, with her beau, Ron Duguay, and she says, happy birthday, Ron, I'm a big fan. Which Dukes told me that she is because she's been watching the show for a long time, and people are, I wouldn't be bragging about that you're friends with her. Or people writing in saying, gross. I'm like, what is wrong with you? What really is wrong with you? This is a positive, uplifting moment amongst friends, and people want to crap on it for political reason. What is wrong? These are human beings. And those are 2 very great people. That annoyed me coming out of yesterday. So those opinions will not be tolerated on this show. How about that? Well, listen. We got through this whole opening segment on one thing, the National Hockey League. When we come back, we got the NFL breaking news, some CFL stuff I want to talk about, college football if we have time in hour 1, may push it to hour 2, some NBA and NHL tonight. Maybe you can help me out with the picks. 902-518-3033 is the Western Dodge text line. Are you looking to trade up? Western Dodge makes it easy with top dollar trade-ins and unbeatable deals. I'm also going to tell you why My vote for the game of the night tonight is going to make this a very, very special day and night. I'll tell you about that when we come back here on Game Plus TV.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. ultimatefanzone.ca or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
21-time nominated Grammy Award winner Dwight Yoakam. Live in concert. June 24th, 7 p.m., Temple Garden Center. Dwight Yoakam. On sale now at sasktix.ca. Dwight Yoakam Live.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. It's really going to get fun now. Not that it wasn't since we opened the program today with a quick 6 show topics, but for those that are watching streaming right now on YouTube, we just had the ad from the Temple Garden Center in Moose Jaw where Dwight Yoakam's coming June 24th. I'm hoping that I'll be back broadcasting baseball this summer in the Western Canadian Baseball League. I think that's going to happen, but the Yoakam ad reminded me of this. I got a buddy here, Derek, and in South Florida, and a couple of years ago, Dwight Yoakam came through, and he was playing the Hard Rock Casino. It's the huge casino shaped like a guitar. You might have seen photos of it. And he goes, "Oh yeah, my wife's taking me to Dwight Yoakam tonight at Hard Rock." I said, "Oh, what's the occasion?" He goes, "It's for our 30th anniversary." And I said, "Well, if she doesn't want to go, I'll go with you." He just gave me the weirdest. Why wouldn't she want to go with me? She bought the ticket. I'm just saying, if something happens, I'll go. He didn't call, but I can go this summer in Moose Jaw. From the text line, just so you all know that have just joined us, we've only talked about the NHL so far. And last night's game of the night in the NHL was the Oilers winning at Pittsburgh 6-4. Leon Draisaitl netting 4 assists in the game. Stuart Skinner making his Penguins debut. I said it was a tough watch. Bob in Medicine Hat writes in. He says, good morning, Rod. Watching your show again today. Totally enjoy it. Have a great day, Rod. Thank you, Bob, for saying nice things. And that reminds me, on the Sarah Palin appearance yesterday, Carlos in Indianapolis writes in. When I said, keep your political comments to yourself, Carlos in Indy says, to her and your credit, you all did stick to sports outside of a passing question. Hey. I didn't ask her about her political future. Duguay stepped up, and he brought it up, not me. Somebody was asking, how did you become friends with them? 5-6 years ago, when this show was in its infancy, I said to producer Clark, because he was the guest booker at the time, I said, let's stop getting on the TSN and Sportsnet guys, because everybody sees them all the time. Can you reach out and start grabbing some former NHL alum, and NFL alum for that matter? And Duguay was one of the guys that Clark just threw his line in the water, and Dukes answered, and now we've become great friends. It's sometimes you just click. Gus Farrat is another guy who I've been trying to get a hold of Gus. Anyways, on the Skinner thing, Jim writes in, he's watching in Balgoni. He says, I agree with you about Skinner. I never, ever like to see someone struggle. But adversity grows character in the long term. Enjoy the day, all. Darren's watching in Melfort, where they do the Melfort Shuffle. He says, Oilers celebrating Draisaitl's 1,000th point right beside Skinner was kind of a kick in the teeth for him. Oilers could have moved to center ice at least. You know what? Here's the thing. I don't have a problem with that. This ain't Pee-wee. This ain't Pee-wee. Yeah, it was just a tough watch. And I think tough for me, for anybody that has a heart. But I mean, I've been discarded publicly multiple times. That is a special kind of pain. That's why I think why I felt so bad watching Stu last night. But the good thing is, I now help people out getting over those things. So if you can find a silver lining, which reminds me, before I move on to football, why this is going to be such a special night tonight. My longtime dear friend, Judd Lang, is on his way down from Orlando right now with his son, Caden. He's coming to watch our Cats and Bolts podcast live in downtown Boca Raton this afternoon. Jeff Chikrin's coming on with us, former NHLer and Panthers TV guy. And then we're going to the Kings and the Panthers game tonight. And Judd's all upset for we're goalies. We were teammates for a brief time on the Pan-Canadian Beavers, Weyburn Beavers, Pan-Canadian Beavers. And then for 2 seasons, we were the goaltending tandem on the Milestone Flyers senior team. And we go back and we worked together at the radio station because his dad owned the station, a station which I would go on to get fired from when I was 19. In retrospect, I deserved it all. But at the time, I didn't get it. I threw a fit. I didn't understand. Turned out to be one of the best things that ever happened to me. So as Jim in Balgoni says, yes, adversity builds character. And but when you're going through it, it sucks. And speaking of sucks, Judd's upset that Sergei Bobrovsky isn't starting tonight for the Cats. Baby Bob is, as we call him, Daniil Tarasov. And whatever, maybe just Tarasov will get pulled. We'll get to see Bob. I don't know. But I know we've brought this topic up before, but I want to bring it up again because today's a perfect example. Again, Judd's driving down here from Orlando. It's like 3 hours. And he's upset that Bob's not playing for the Panthers tonight. Is there a game that you people went a long ways to see the player and he or she didn't play? I've told this story before. In the 80s, our family went up to Edmonton to watch the Oilers. Obviously, they're playing the Blues in a 2-game set, and Grant Fuhr didn't play either game for the Oilers. I was so mad. Fortunately, I loved Andy Moog. I was like 11. I came to see Coco. So, and I heard this story of some folks from our home going to Milwaukee to watch the Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he didn't play. Not to pick at a wound or anything, but misery does love company. 902-518-3033. Was there ever a time that you traveled significant distance to watch a player, and that player didn't play. I'd love to hear the story. The breaking news to which I referred, point two, the Miami Dolphins are benching Tua Tagovailoa for rookie 7th-round pick Quinn Ewers. ESPN's Adam Schefter broke the story this morning. Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel said he was considering it after a 28-15 loss to the Steelers on Monday night eliminated Miami from playoff contention. Tua leads the NFL with 15 picks and hasn't played up to his contract after signing a 4-year, $212.4 million extension in July 2024. And it's interesting. I mean, I'm in the Miami area. As Ron Duguay referred to it yesterday as the crazy area. I'm not going to lie. It's pretty crazy down here. I try to avoid it as much as I can. But the NFL focus, maybe it's just because it's midweek, but it's on the teams already turned to next year. Like this morning, a lot of questions were talked about with the Kansas City Chiefs. What should they do? Tear it all down? Should they retool? With the Dolphins, should Tua play or not play the rest of the season? Well, Mike McDaniel making the choice here. They've scrapped the season. They were eliminated Monday night. Who would expect Tua would play? The Dolphins are in a huge conundrum, but they always are. Hey, thank you, John in Edmonton. I had that point coming up next. See, Carlos in Indy says the same thing. He's like, may as well give the rookies a shot now that the season's officially over. That's exactly it. I don't understand how this is front page news that Tua is going to be sat down for the rest of the year. And as far as the Kansas City Chiefs go, in which direction? I mean, sometimes these guys ask questions, they already know the answer. But although the sport's different, the concept is the same. Look at the Tampa Bay Lightning. They have not torn it down. They haven't had to. They could have torn it down, but they just keep retooling every year. They got rid of a franchise great in Steven Stamkos, and the last I checked, they're still in first place. It's kind of they call it a rebuild on the fly. But when you have the best quarterback not only in the league, but maybe of all time, there are metrics that will say that Patrick Mahomes is the greatest NFL quarterback of all time. I don't think you rebuild right now. You do whatever you can to rebuild on the fly. The Dolphins, disaster. But they haven't won 3 Super Bowls like the Chiefs have with Mahomes. They can play Marino if they want. They're going to be firing Mike McDaniel at the end of the year. It's like, why are we doing this song and dance? But anyways. Darren in Melfort writes in on the Dwight Yoakam thing. He says, use your stardom power to get the Yoakam concert to open up the entire rink for the show. Sold out. Well, they're advertising on this show, so I'm sure it will be sold out. Mark Chestnut was sold out. Clint Black was sold out. Why do they need the whole arena? Nobody opens the whole arena. Jenna checks in and says, good morning from Southern California. Hey, Jenna, good to see you. Jenna, a huge Ottawa Red Blacks fan. So because this is the Canadian hour of the program and we talk Canadian topics, on cue, John from Edmonton, I had the CFL as something that I wanted to discuss this hour. I follow Luke Wilson. I follow TSN. I follow the CFL. So, of course, you're saying I might want to check out what they had. Of course, I saw it. It's in front of my... You all think that I don't think about Canada? This show airs in Canada every day. I'm following everything that's going on. And I guess, how should I put this? I'm not going to take it personally, even if it was meant to be personal. To paraphrase here, because I don't have the clip in front of me, but Luke Wilson was basically saying to Stuart Johnston, the commissioner, in a roundtable format on a set, when you changed these rules, you weren't planning on Americanizing it, were you? And the commissioner goes, no. And then Luke Wilson's like, I didn't think so. Guys, please. I don't want to say I'm probably already in enough trouble with the whole. Somebody with CFL ties the night before the announcement told me the term was Americanization. And if you want to scapegoat me, go ahead, for the nation's reaction and all the CFL fans losing their minds because of the rule change. Oh, it's Rod's fault. Rod said Americanization. It's not. No, that's not what we're doing. Come on. I can take it. Trust me, I can. And I'll remind everybody, Luke Wilson was the guy that referred to the CFL Friday Night Football game, Riders Argos as hot garbage. Was also disciplined by the commissioner, Stuart Johnston, for his use of social media and terminology relating to the CFL. And all of a sudden, he's Joe CFL guy and I'm the villain? Okay. So that's my thing. I talk to CFL pundits and insiders all the time. And this whole, if it's the term Americanization that sent people around the bend, which I don't think it is, it's changing the rules is what's sending people around the bend. And I still think they painted themselves in a corner. They're trying to get themselves out of that corner. And if you want to say that it was misinterpreted, blame me, whatever, go ahead. But they have yet to explain reasonably or to our satisfaction why they're doing it. Because we just came off the highly successful CFL playoffs, wildly entertaining Grey Cup with great rules. So why are you changing them if you're not going to expand to the states? Because it makes no sense. I think that's all I have to say on the matter. Thank you, John, for bringing it up. But don't think for 1 second that I haven't been following it. We can come back on that because we're rolling through the quick six show topics. While we have a minute, I'll do the junior hockey report here for the Mad Greek Eatery in Moose Jaw. Aiden Ziprick's 8th goal of the season proved to be the winner as the Moose Jaw Warriors top the Kelowna Rockets 6-2 at the aforementioned Temple Garden Center Tuesday night. The Warriors take a 10-day Christmas break now, returning to action a week from Saturday when they host the Brandon Wheat Kings. Are you craving the famous Greek ribs everybody in Moose Jaw is talking about? I mean, it's everybody in Moose Jaw's favorite restaurant. Why don't you go check out for yourself why? Get yours today at the Mad Greek Eatery. Dine in, pick up, or order online at themadgreekeatery.com. Head on over to the Jaw. Check out Ultimate Fan Zone because it's an actual sporting merchandise store that you can walk into and try things on. And then roll on over to the Mad Greek, and you can thank me later. By the way, does your message stand out at Outlaw Communications? We make sure it does. Tony Plater brings 35 years of communication and leadership expertise, from media training and leadership coaching to strategic crisis planning and compelling content. He'll help you lead with confidence. Outlaw Communications, where creativity isn't a hobby, it's a way of life. So we've done NHL, NFL, CFL. That's only 3 points. We got a lot to get to. Randy Grimes, the sober center, coming up in hour 2, the founder of Athletes in Recovery, starting center for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from 1983 to 1992. He's our hour 2 guest. We'll be back in a moment. And again, 902-518-3033 is the text line. Let's get it going. 902-518-3033 for Western Dodge. We'll be right back. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV, YouTube, podcast, and listening at 1700 WQVZ.
Are you ready? January 8th to 11th, it all goes down in Moose Jaw at the Yara Center. The Battle on the Prairies. NCAA rules. 25 elite teams. Alberta, Boston, Texas, Mexico, Manitoba, Saskatchewan. All under one roof. Come watch live. Tickets available right at the door. Pay-per-view will be available at ikslive.ca.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Not sure why, but we're completely out of order. We stay on point when Scruffy's here, but not when I'm alone. I don't understand that. But it's fun. 902-518-3033 is the text line. We get a lot of great comments there. The YouTube chat as well. I told you that it's going to be fun, and it has been fun for me anyways, and that's the name of the game. The newsletter, the Rod Squad newsletter, drops every Sunday afternoon. It's brought to you by Suds Full-Service Car Wash. Fuel your fleet's finesse with Suds Regina's unbeatable cleaning packages. They'll shine like new every time. Visit sudsregina.com. It always happens. When your team is out of contention in any league, you immediately start to think for next year. At any level, every league. And that's fine. I'm just a little, and it's not just because I'm in the Miami area that I'm hearing all about the Dolphins. It's all they're talking about on television. It's the lead item on the wire that the Miami Dolphins are benching Tua for the rest of the season. Why wouldn't you? He's injury prone. Oh, and they are bashing the hell out of him here. That's the fans and the media. It's a tough town that way. But as far as the Chiefs, yeah, their season's over too. Mahomes has the torn ACL. Wayne is watching in Winnipeg. He writes in and says, Mahomes will be back with the Chiefs. Tom Brady came back from an ACL tear, and look how successful he was after. Yeah, but he tore his knee in a game where they were eliminated. What does that say for the rest of the season? Like, Travis Kelce is not the same guy. Like, they need to upgrade. They can't roll this back. And I'm glad you brought that up, Wayne. But it's why earlier this season, actually it was right after the Super Bowl last year, when we had the poll question on here, is the Chiefs dynasty, or will they be back? Will they get back to the Super Bowl? 75% of people said, yes, they will. I'm like, I don't think so. They've had a great run. And although Mahomes isn't old, some of his teammates are. Jeremy writes in from Winnipeg, says, I hope Pat Mahomes is out all year. Draft Jeremiah Love of Notre Dame, running back, and in 2027, Jeremiah Smith, wide receiver, OSU. Be a dynasty 2.0. Oh, if it all went according to plan. But clearly the Chiefs, that's the thing, personnel-wise, they know what they're doing. The question is, what will or should they do? I mean, how far do you tear down the teardown? Again, the Tampa Bay Lightning are the perfect example. I picked them last season to miss the playoffs, and the Lightning fans and media still remind me about it. I'm like, I thought you were going to go into a rebuild. You should. Here they are in first place, and they just tinkered a little bit. That's what the Chiefs need to do. John in Edmonton writes in, he says, week 15, September 12th, there are 4 CFL games. Oh, in one day? He says, fans are losing their minds, and some are not happy about it. Me personally, I'm happy about it. I'm just trying to get through today, John. I'm not thinking a lot about September 12th. Sorry. 902-518-3033. Hit refresh on the text line and wazanga! Bob writes in and says, hey, Bob from Medicine Hat. He says, hey, Rod, texting in for the second time today. Texted you like you are an honest, straight shooter. I was born in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, some 78 years ago. I have season tickets. Leave the rules the way they are. The Canadian game. That's the whole thing. Again, if they want to tie a can to me, go ahead. Wouldn't be the first time. I use the term Americanization. That's not why people lost their minds. They lost their minds because you're changing the rules at all. Significantly. Blame me. Or do. I don't care. Greg in Calgary writes in. Right. Thank you, Greg. Regarding when's the time that you went a long distance to watch a player and then that player didn't play? Because my friend Judd is driving here right now with his son Caden from Orlando, all excited to go to the Panthers and the Kings tonight. They wanted to see Bob because we're goalie guys, and Bob not playing. Greg in Calgary writes in. He says, I went to New Jersey to see the Penguins versus Devils. No Crosby. But saw Malkin score the winning goal. He's great to watch, but Sid is the kind of guy you want to watch before he retires. I've had, as George Strait sings, my life's been grand. Saw Tom Brady play at San Diego with the Patriots. Robert Kraft driving around on a golf cart in the tailgating, tossing out hats and T-shirts to Patriots fans. That was amazing. Saw LeBron play the Lakers at the Spurs in San Antonio. That was awesome. Saw Gretzky multiple times. Saw Michael Jordan in Portland on a road trip with the Bulls. We were there for hockey. Very, very lucky. You have to say that you've seen these guys. Life's short. Buy the shoes. Eat the cake. Buy the tickets. That's today's Rod tip. Tony writes in, says, good morning, Rod, from snowy Saskatoon. I got to say that shirt you got on today is fantastic. I'd rock that on the great golf courses in our area like Valley Regional in Rosthern or Dakota Dunes. Have a good one, Rod, from Tony. It's funny, this one, not that there's, trust me, clearly nothing wrong with Greek restaurants. One sponsors this show, the Mad Greek. But when I got this plethora of shirts, I'm like, this looks like the shirt that a Greek restaurant owner would wear. And God knows, I know a million of them. Johnny Athanasopoulos, George Yanitsos, John Yatridis. Doesn't that look like a Greek restaurateur shirt? I get compliments on this thing every time I wear it. And it was Mark Gundry from the Whole Life brand here in Florida that came up with these shirts. How about that? Mark's a great guy. On 2 occasions, he's asked if I could sneak him into a Carolina Hurricanes game or Miami Hurricanes game on a media pass or a Panthers game. I'm like, yeah, can't do that, unfortunately. Oh, just another from Tony. He says, always a great day when a George Strait reference is in the show. He is the GOAT, in my opinion. No, it ain't just your opinion, Toy. It's everybody's opinion. Last night I was watching Landman after the Oilers Pittsburgh game, and there's a scene, Season 2, Episode 3, I think. They're sitting in the lounge, Andy Garcia, Billy Bob Thornton, and their wives, and there was a George Strait song playing. I'm like, that's an album cut from 1984. Off the top of my head right now, I can't remember the name. What's going on in your world? It sure is lonesome in mine. Look it up. That's what it was. I mean, you remember that guy, Robert Keating, who had to be restrained from Anne Murray? Look it up. That's me and George Strait. The second I hear the twin fiddles, steel guitar. George's, it goes right to my nervous system in a good way. Really enjoying season 2 of Landman, by the way. Wayne in Winnipeg writes in. He says, hey, Rod, kudos to you for putting your views out there. Your viewers appreciate the chance to comment, knowing that you will respect their views. We get to be part of your show. Yes, that's the whole idea. I mentioned earlier Johnny Athanasopoulos. His nickname's Johnny Athens. He used to always say, that's the whole idea. For years, decades, I've called thousands of games. But I've realized that's not my role anymore. That's not what I'm meant to do, not at this time. Doing this show on these networks with this audience is what I'm meant to do, and hopefully it has some impact positively on people. That's dawned on me lately. So thank you, Wayne, for saying that. Again, I have my views. I was talking to Marion this morning in Arizona, and we were talking about this Rob Reiner stuff. I'm like, this is just, the man and his wife died. Come on. I'm talking about everybody. Jenna writing in from Southern California. I haven't watched Landman. I'm a Fire Country fan. I don't even know what that is, but I would suggest you watch Landman on Paramount Plus. On the Chiefs, Jeremy in Winnipeg writes in and says, after a poop season, I am not upset at all. What a run. There are other franchises that don't get to see this kind of run. Oh, look at the Dolphins, for God's sakes. It's one big cry fest every day, year round. Oh, my God. They're trying to convince me to become a Dolphins fan. I'm like, why? I get enough pain with the Cowboys. We'll be back with a sports update, viewer takeover the rest of the way. Randy Grimes, the Sober Center, in hour 2 from the Buccaneers. We'll be back here on Game Plus TV.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, A big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Okay, everybody, let's keep it rolling. Choo-choo. To the rest of the top of the hour here, 902-518-3033 is the text line. I promised to get to a sports update. I don't know what it is when it's just me solo. I bring in way more of the viewership component, and seems to work. I wouldn't want to do it alone every day for 2 hours or more. I wouldn't want to, and kudos to the guys that do. But we can do this an hour or two a week. It works out just great. So I was asking, and the reason I was asking is my friend Judd and his son Caden are driving here. I've known Judd since high school. Again, we were teammates on the Weyburn Pan-Canadian Beavers briefly. And then 2 seasons with the Flyers, not Philly. They're on their way here, and they want to see Bob because they're goalie guys. Bob and I are Judd and I are both, well, obviously goalies. And Bob's not playing. Judd's upset. Judd goes, I'm available. How about you? I said, I'm not available. No, I'm not available. My gear is at Sports Exchange awaiting a warm home. Not with me. Anyways, Rob, my good buddy Robbie Swallow, Rob from Windthorst writes in on the Western Dodge text line, 902-518-3033. He says, oh, goodness. And I hit refresh and I lost it. Hang on. While that refreshes, John writes in and says, my cousin went all the way to London, England to see David Beckham play soccer. When he got off the airplane, he found out David Beckham wasn't playing. He wanted to fly home. Here it is. Rob from Windthorst writes in. He says, I had tickets to watch the Bruins in Calgary on December 17th, 2005. It was my first NHL game. Joe Thornton got traded from Boston to San Jose on November 30th. Bruins lost 3-0. Luckily, got to see many more Bruins games over the years and better teams. Ooh, I feel like that one hurt. Rob, you remember the dates and all the details from 20 years ago. Hey, I get it. Trust me, I get it. Have you ever traveled a long distance to see a player and that player didn't play? Oh, on the George Strait tune, What's Going On in Your World? It wasn't 1984. It was 1989, but I was right. It was an album cut from the Beyond the Blue Neon album. I was like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme last night. I'm sitting there watching Landman, and hey, I know that George Strait song just playing in the background in the lounge. What a great series Landman is. So the sports update is going to morph with what's left of the quick 6 show topics, okay? OG Anunoby had 28 points and 9 rebounds. Jalen Brunson had 25 points and 8 assists. And the New York Knicks won the NBA Cup Tuesday with a 124-113 victory over the San Antonio Spurs in Las Vegas. Meanwhile, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver says the league will look into the possibility of giving relief to the Miami Heat over the status of Terry Rozier. The veteran guard is on leave without pay while facing gambling charges. But Rozier's $26.6 million salary takes up about 17% of the Heat's cap space. That's a lot. Rozier pleaded not guilty earlier this month to wire fraud and money laundering conspiracy charges stemming from accusation that he helped friends win bets. Bro, that's the one you don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. You make $26.6 million per year in an income tax-free state, and you want to help your friends win bets? Just give them the money. Or open your own sports book. There are 5 games in the NHL tonight, including one in St. Louis, where the Blues host the Winnipeg Jets, who have lost 4 of their past 5. Blues have lost 3 of their last 4. That is not the game of the night. Elsewhere, the Pacific Division leading Vegas Golden Knights host the New Jersey Devils, and the LA Kings visit the Florida Panthers, who have won 2 in a row. To me, that is the game of the night. The Kings at the Panthers. And I can't remember who I was talking to the other day. Oh, my buddy Jeff. And he was saying, have fun at the game. I said, great Jersey matchup. And I'm not sure he agreed or even knew what I meant, but Florida Panthers Reds and the LA Kings Whites with the black and silver trim is a smoking Jersey matchup. You kind of got to see it live, which, by the way, is another thing. Wayne in Victoria, BC writes in, I'm not fishing for compliments here, but he says, good. Trust me, I'm not. But Wayne says, I'm enjoying the show today and how you can flow from topic to topic with different sports and make it entertaining. Keep up the good work. I love it. Well, thank you, Wayne, and you keep watching. But as I was saying earlier, Judd's dad owned the radio station that I worked at, my first job. I got fired from that radio station. By then, Judd's dad was gone, but it was pretty devastating at the time. But it worked out great. And a lot of times I sit around, because I am in South Florida, going, oh my God. And we're going to this Panthers-Kings game tonight, and Judd's like, are we going to see you? Are we going to get tickets together? And I'm like, well, I'll be in the press box, but I will come down to see you. And part of why I said this was one of the greatest birthdays of my life, because I've had now 53 of them. I'm so old, I forgot how old I was. Somebody asked, I forgot. But I got an email yesterday from the National Hockey League that the Rod Pedersen Show will be in attendance at the Winter Classic January 2nd when the New York Rangers are in town to take on the Panthers at Lone Depot Park, the home of the Marlins. I know that that's not anything new to friends of ours like the Draggers and the Friedmans, but to a little old farm kid like me from Milestone, Saskatchewan, with what we've done here, thank you, Game Plus TV. Thank you, Silver State Sports Entertainment Network. Pretty big deal, because when Duguay was on yesterday and I said, are you coming to the Winter Classic? I still didn't know yet if I was even going. But thanks to the National Hockey League, we'll be there. The Rod Pedersen Show will be there in attendance when the Rangers take on the Panthers in the Winter Classic. It was on my birthday. I'm sorry. It's still a big deal. Will always be a big deal. And one thing, when I was reading Al Michaels' book, I think Al Michaels' book was called You Gotta Be Kidding Me. I think that's what it was. I totally can't remember. I wasn't overly impressed with that book for reasons that I don't need to get into now. But the one thing Al Michaels said in that book, and this guy's in his late 70s, still calling Thursday Night Football on Prime, he goes, don't ever lose your zest. And I don't know if he was talking to younger broadcasters and reporters or just human beings. I'm guessing maybe it was to human beings, but I'm like, I'm not ever going to lose my zest. It's a big deal when we get approved to go to the Winter Classic by the National Hockey League and the Rod Pedersen Show, because there was a period of time that I lost it, and that period sucked. Anyways, now might be a good time. Well, what do we got for time left here? We got time. Just with this Dolphins thing, you can't get away from it. And it is what it is. It's no different than being in a Canadian NHL town. You can't get away from the talk there. It's the same idea. But with this, because people are in it, Cowboys fans are similar. People feel like they can't see how this is going to play out. With Tua, or like in Dallas, we are not going to win. We're never going to win. I'm used to it. I don't really get that upset about it anymore. But I'm listening to Joe Rose on the radio this morning. Dolphins color commentator, former Dolphins player. He's, again, almost crying on the air. I'm like, God, I wish I loved anything as much as Joe Rose loves the Dolphins. Basically saying, there's no plan here. Where are we going? What are we doing? And I'm like, well, I have loved things that much and didn't get me anywhere. So I guess that's why. I just feel bad for Joe. And then this morning, Mike Florio on NBC Sports Radio talking about the Dolphins, and he's like, Their owner, Stephen Ross, lives in New York. He's not around. He's not paying attention to what's going on there. And I'm like, Florio is probably the sharpest NFL reporter going, so I'm not going to say anything about what he said. But I'm like, they have a lot of other owners here. Serena and Venus Williams. Mark Anthony, which I know none of you will know because I didn't, but one of Jennifer Lopez's ex-husbands. I guess he's a singer. Mark with a C. Oh, there's a lot of owners here. There's a lot of people around. You don't need to be around to oversee a team. You just need to do it right. And those ownership stories, I could go on those forever. And now, because I've worked in such a variety of leagues and a variety of markets, I can tell my stories and nobody really knows who I'm talking about. It's perfect. Because I remember one time sitting around with the owner's son, and he was like, oh, everybody says we need a coaching change. Maybe I should coach. It's just the two of us in the room. I'm like, how do I make him think I didn't hear that? You've never coached. Yeah, ownership stories. Gone through all of these points. I'll tell you that coming up in hour 2, Randy Grimes will be with us, the Sober Center. And I'm always looking forward to our chats with Randy. Last time I saw him, he was on with us live at Super Bowl in Las Vegas. 12-season starting center with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And they've just started this series on Amazon Prime, or it just dropped last Thursday, Raise the Flags. I should ask Randy if he's watched it or any of it yet. I've watched one episode, and it's fantastic. So we'll talk about the NFL, maybe get into some recovery stuff because it's near and dear to our heart. But there's going to be a lot of me next hour, too, alone. So let's keep the questions and comments coming. Have you ever gone a long distance to watch your favorite player or a player, and that player didn't end up playing? Because that's happening tonight to my friend Judd here in Florida with Sergei Bobrovsky. NHL top 5, bottom 5. I haven't got to that yet. So we got a lot to get to. 902-518-3033 is the text line. I didn't tell you that our sports update was for the Ultimate Fan Zone. If you're looking for the hottest fan gear, swing by Ultimate Fan Zone Sports Store or shop online at ultimatefanzone.ca, where real fans get their gear. I still don't know what a real fan is, but they're out there, and they go to Ultimate Fan Zone. We'll be right back here on Game Plus TV.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers, Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
Yeah. As producer Corey just said, it's showtime, baby. It's hour 2 of the RP show, but for the Nevada viewers, it's hour 1. All my stories are fresh to them on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. Chugging along on the Game Plus TV network as well on this hump day. It's episode number 1641 of your favorite daytime and primetime sports talk show. Our guest today is my dear friend, Randy Grimes, the Sober Center best-selling author, 12 seasons starting center for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, founder of Athletes in Recovery. We both have a very fond spot in our heart for the concept of recovery. We're both in recovery. Randy Grimes coming up in the next segment, everybody. Might as well get down to business. Although I will open this hour with how I opened last hour. Randy, as I say, is a dear friend. You found out yesterday who some of my other dear friends are. Ron Duguay, who's a regular on this show. People still talking about blowing up my phone with the special appearance from Sarah Palin on the program yesterday. Unscheduled. No, I didn't know it was coming. Although over the years, Ron had hinted that it might, if they were ever in the same spot at the same time. They're together, yes. And it made it for a fantastic birthday for me yesterday. It was one of the best of my life. Had some great news from the National Hockey League, and it was great. And for those that wrote in with some very ugly political comments about Madam Governor Palin, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? You understand they're human beings, right? They jumped on this show to make a birthday surprise, and Sarah said she's a big fan of the show, and people want to dump on it. Oh, my God. As my sponsor, Bob, says, only 3 things bother me: people, places, and things. God. So it was a great day. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Dukes. Today's a new day, and let's jump into it. 5 games in the National Hockey League tonight, including one in St. Louis, where the Blues host the Winnipeg Jets, who have lost 4 of their last 5. The Blues have lost 3 of their last 4. That is not a marquee game, although it is for fans of the Blues and the Jets. Elsewhere, the Pacific Division leading Vegas Golden Knights host the New Jersey Devils, and the LA Kings visit the Florida Panthers, who have won 2 in a row. And that's why today's a new day, and it's an awesome day. Our poll question is, what's the game of the night in the National Hockey League? Not shockingly, our number 2 region for viewership on Game Plus anyways is Winnipeg, Manitoba. So the Jets fans hoping this season can be resuscitated. I think we all think that it can. They are voting that the Jets and the Blues is the game of the night. For me, it's the LA Kings at the Florida Panthers. The Kings only come through once a year. My good friend Judd is on his way down. When I say down, from Orlando. He's originally from Weyburn. We work together. He's bringing his son Caden, and it's a real fun thing living in a tourist destination like this with NHL hockey and all these great sporting events going on. You get to see people you haven't seen for a long time. So we're going to the game tonight. But he's very upset, Judd is, and for good reason. They wanted to see Sergei Bobrovsky play for the Florida Panthers, the best goalie in the world, as anybody who knows their stuff knows. Bob's not playing. Bob not here. Daniil Tarasov getting the start for the Panthers tonight. Baby Bob, as we say. So I said, get here early for the warm-up, or as the Americans say, warm-ups. I never quite figured that one out, but that's a bit of a theme that we've got going on the program today. Have you ever traveled a very long distance to watch a player, and that player didn't play? I've said it on this show multiple times. I'll just warm you up with mine again. It was 1984. Family trip up to Edmonton to watch the Oilers and the Blues in a 2-game set. I wanted to see Grant Fuhr. He didn't play. Andy Moog played both for the Oil, and thank God I love Moger too, but I wanted to see Grant Fuhr. Kid problems. And that's what's happening tonight here. But hey, Bob can't play every game. He would if he could. Hang on. Thank you, Jenna. Hang on. Cowboys fan. Yeah. Yes. Somehow or another, this is turning into an online television therapy episode for Dallas Cowboys fans. I don't even know if the season's over yet or not. I mean, mathematically, theoretically, it certainly is for the Dallas Cowboys. But let me just go back to the hockey point for a second. Another big point from what we've been talking about today. Connor McDavid had 2 goals and 2 assists. Leon Draisaitl had 4 helpers, and the visiting Edmonton Oilers beat the Pittsburgh Penguins 6-4 Tuesday night. Draisaitl became the first German player to hit 1,000 career points, finished the night with 1,003. Penguins netminder Stuart Skinner in his Pittsburgh debut facing his former team stopped 17 of 22 shots. It wasn't a great outing for Stu. We all watched the game. It was a tough watch. And there's been a lot of reaction from our viewers about that. When Draisaitl hit 1,000 points, the bench emptied, and they were celebrating right beside Skinner. And people were saying it was a kick in the teeth for... Yeah, it was for the goalie, but it ain't Pee-wee. It's not. And that's what makes it even harder. I don't think you have had to have been in his shoes or been discarded in life. Anybody would feel bad for Stuart Skinner last night. It was tough. But I hope he rebounds. Picks last night, I picked 8 of 10, including that one correctly, that the Oilers would win. Scruffy was 7 of 10, and anytime I beat him, I'm going to point that out. And before we move to the football, I promised the top 5, bottom 5 in the National Hockey League. I'm going to go through this fast because Randy Grimes is loaded up and ready to go. The Sober Center joining us next. Top 5 teams in the National Hockey League. Everybody knows the Colorado Avalanche are number 1. If they lose, whenever they lose, it's a shock. That's how good they are. Number 2, Dallas. Well, definitely the second best team. These are definitely on a collision course for the Western Conference Final. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Minnesota, number 3. Still the hottest team since the start of November in the NHL. Number 3, Carolina Hurricanes have Colorado 1, Dallas 2, Minnesota 3, Carolina 4. Hurricanes have been in the top 5 all year. I really do hope this is the year for them, but until it is, I won't believe that it will be. And number 5, the Vegas Golden Knights, who are home tonight to New Jersey. It's a good litmus test for the Golden Knights tonight, as I read in the story there. They lead the Pacific Division. In the standings, Vegas is not in the top 5. Anaheim's actually 5th. And you know what the tiebreaker for me is in these situations? If they met in 1 game or even a 7-game series, who wins? Vegas is winning that. So that's why I've got Vegas ahead of Anaheim for the number 5 spot. Bottom 5, don't want to hurt any feelings here, but the 28th team in the NHL, 5th worst, is the Chicago Blackhawks. They can't win without Connor Bedard. This is a recording. 29th team is the St. Louis Blues, and everybody knows it. You want to talk about a must-win tonight for the Winnipeg Jets? It's that in St. Louis. 3rd worst team, number 30, is the Seattle Kraken. NHL worst, 1-8-1 in their last 10. 31st team, the Calgary Flames, but at least you know that. And the rebuild is on, and the worst team in the NHL is the Vancouver Canucks, and I'm not going to belabor it, even though they won in New York last night, and I got that one wrong. Point two, breaking news on this Wednesday from the National Football League. The Miami Dolphins are benching Tua Tagovailoa for rookie 7th-round pick Quinn Ewers. Adam Schefter of ESPN broke the news on Wednesday morning. Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel said he was considering this move after a 28-15 loss to the Steelers Monday night eliminated Miami from playoff contention. Tua, that night, it doesn't matter what his stats were. How about this? He leads the NFL in picks with 15 this year. He signed a 4-year, $212.4 million deal in July 2024. And I mean, I don't know the reasons that went into the Dolphins firing their head coach, their general manager, Chris Greer, last month. That's probably one of them, because now they're sitting there going, wait a minute. We got a quarterback that's 0-6 in the cold when the temperature is below freezing. You understand that you can't play every game in Miami, right, guys? Jenna writes in and says, I just hope the Dallas Cowboys defense keeps playing hard and lays the hit on the other offenses. Keep the games close. Keep it interesting. I'll still be watching and cheering. I'll be following it too, Jenna. I will. But it's the concept of detachment. I'll watch, but I won't allow what goes on in the field to affect my mood. It actually works. You may want to try it. Johnny's watching in Winnipeg and says, that's Selly besides Stu. Oof. Sometimes spit happens. And for those that don't know what he's talking about, I mentioned it earlier. When Draisaitl hit 1,000 points, the Oilers bench emptied, and they came down to celebrate right beside Stuart Skinner, their former goalie, as of last Friday. It was tough. And people wrote in here earlier and said they should have moved that celebration out to center ice. They're not thinking that. And that's the tough part about sports is it ain't Pee-wee. It's the National Hockey League. I hope Stuart Skinner rebounds. I really do. It was tough for him, period, to be making his Penguins debut. But against his former team, we were all hoping what happened wouldn't happen. So we move on. Stewart's going to move on. And he's going to be fine. Receiver Devontae Adams hasn't been ruled out for the LA Rams showdown at Seattle on Thursday, despite his hamstring injury. Coach Sean McVay said the NFC-leading Rams likely will wait until game time to make a final decision on the availability of the NFL's touchdown receptions leader. The team remains hopeful Adams can play, although he won't participate in their walkthroughs in practice today. Adams got hurt while running a long route in the fourth quarter of the Rams' 41-34 comeback win over the Detroit Lions. I think we were all watching that. That didn't look good when he went down. And by the way, this Rams-Seahawks game, I do get a kick out of this because I heard somebody say already this week, biggest regular season game ever. Oh? I thought that was the Chiefs and the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, which the Cowboys won, and in the end didn't mean anything. Our picks are brought to you by Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. Pump Jack's Cathedral, Pump Jack's Weyburn. It's 11 minutes after the hour. If you celebrate, visualize a positive outcome to your current quagmire. Just give it a try. College football, point three. Caden Creel threw a touchdown pass. DeAndre Johnson had 6 receptions for 101 yards. And Jacksonville State beat Troy 17-13 Tuesday night to win the Salute to Veterans Bowl. And with that, the bowl season has kicked off. There's a couple tonight, just so you know. I'm sure you're on the edge of your seats for the Cure Bowl. It's Old Dominion versus South Florida. And the 68 Ventures Bowl, Louisiana versus Delaware. If somebody is out there trying to watch them all, or at least parts of all the bowl games, please let me know. Let's follow along. I'm not. I didn't watch a snap of it. It didn't kick off till 9 p.m. Eastern last night. I watched the Penguins and the Oilers, and then I watched Landman, and I'm very happy with my decision. Randy Grimes is coming in next, the Sober Center. 902-518-3033 is the text line for any of the topics we've had on the program today, or questions and comments for Randy. 12 seasons center with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the founder of Athletes in Recovery. Still on the college football train, Curt Cignetti has been named the Associated Press Coach of the Year in college football for the second consecutive season. He's the first coach to win the award back-to-back since it was presented in 1998. Cignetti has led Indiana to unprecedented success with a 24-2 record over 2 seasons. The Hoosiers are 13-0 this year, Big Ten champions for the first time since 1967, and the top seed in the college football playoffs. It means they're not playing this weekend. Texas Tech's Joey McGuire and Vanderbilt's Clark Leah received 2 each, and Virginia's Tony Elliott got 1 in the voting for Coach of the Year in college football. Saturday, I'll be hosting another Miami Hurricanes watch party, and that'll be fun. Should be asking everybody, maybe we will later in the week, what is your scale of 1 to 10 excitement level for college football? Which, by the way, there will not be a show tomorrow. Programming note, there will be no RP show on Thursday. So if you have things to get off your chest, get them in and off your chest now. 902-518-3033. Western Dodge text line. OG Anunoby had 28 points and 9 rebounds. Jalen Brunson had 25 points and 8 assists. And the New York Knicks won the NBA Cup on Tuesday with a 124-113 victory over the San Antonio Spurs in Las Vegas. Stephen Castle had 15 points and 12 assists for the Spurs, who led 61-59 at halftime and 94-89 heading into the fourth quarter. The Knicks outscored the Spurs 35-19 in the final quarter. History will show that the Knicks won the NBA Cup. It's hilarious because those of us that aren't basketball people don't even know what it is. And NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman, who those of us with some age remember came from the NBA, has been asked if the NHL is considering an NHL Cup or a play-in tournament. And he's like, no. So it works for the NBA. Hockey's not doing it. By the way, are you stuck for gift ideas? Studs gift cards. Available online at our location or at Costco. They're the ultimate for anyone who loves a clean ride. Visit sudsregina.com. They watch us every day in the lobby there. Hi, Kirby. The Sober Center joins us next after this brief pause. You're watching on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network across Nevada and across Canada and 32 U.S. states right here on Game Plus TV.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
The RP Show is brought to you by CoolBet.com. Claim your welcome bet bonus up to $200 with the promo code RP200 at CoolBet.com. Canadian viewers only. Sorry. Hey, there he is. Merry Christmas to my guy, the sober center, Randy Grimes, 12 seasons, Tampa Bay Buccaneers center, founder of Athletes in Recovery, best-selling author, and all-around great guy. How you doing, cowboy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Listen, I didn't lose your number. Last time that we hooked up was Super Bowl Las Vegas, and that was a big time. What have you been up to since, Randy?
Same thing. Just working on helping people get well, and that's through my Pro Athletes in Recovery nonprofit and consulting.
Good for you, man. I love it. And thanks for all you do with that. You're probably wondering what I want to talk about. And there's multiple things, but you crossed my mind last week when the Buccaneers were hosting Thursday Night Football. And it was the 50-year anniversary of the Bucs. And that was they blew it against the Falcons that night.
Yeah,
there was a lot of guys going back. Did you go back for that game?
No, I didn't, but I went back earlier to another game that we had that they had some of the old guys there for, and that it reconnect with all those guys. But Rod, my best season was 6-10 out of the 10 years that I was there. So, I had 5 different head coaches, 6 different offensive line coaches. There was not a lot of continuity there with the Buccaneers during that decade of 1983 to 93.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've heard of, I'm sure, have you watched any of the documentary that's out on Amazon Prime now, Raise the Flags?
I've seen a little bit of it. I need to watch the whole thing.
Okay. Well, when you do, we'll bring you back and we'll talk about it. But it's funny because people think of the Bucs since they won in 2003 and then Brady winning it, that they're all that. And it's like, it was tough times, man. But knowing you,
oh man,
you're proud of that.
There.
Yeah, go ahead. What was it like?
It was a long dry spell during the Culver House years. There was a long dry spell there.
Well, and you were playing a not too glamorous position. So just like maybe what would be the best thing is tell people your story because it is fascinating. You were going through some things while you were trying to anchor the offensive line of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, I was that guy willing to do whatever I had to stay out on the field. I mean, win or lose, I love the game of football. And believe it or not, I love the community of Tampa Bay. I mean, they came out and they supported their team no matter what. They might have been shirtless and drunk, but still they were in the stands and supporting the team. So a lot of injuries and stuff. I played back in an era where we practiced hard every day against each other. that it was that old Bear Bryant mentality where if you don't practice hard, you're not going to play hard. So, most of the injuries that we occurred during our careers were against each other in practice. But I was that guy willing to do whatever I had to stay out on the field, and that meant taking handfuls of opiates, uh, to get through practice and to play through injuries because I didn't want anybody else in my position. And the way that I justified it was I wanted that next big contract. I wanted to be all pro. I wanted to feed my family. I wanted to play the game forever. I was going to be that one guy that played the game forever. You know, and so those are ways that I justified throwing down handfuls of pain pills every day and handfuls of sleeping pills every night to get through to get a night's rest. And I never expected to take that. I looked at it more like a necessary evil instead of what it really was, and that was a full blown addiction. And I never expected to take that necessary evil into my private life, and that's what I did. And then things really spiraled out of control then.
Randy Grimes with us, the Sober Center. Well, it's an easy hole pit to fall into. And that mentality, Randy, about doing anything to stay on the field, be honest, which I know you will, has it really changed in pro football?
No, not at all. They because of the collective bargaining agreement, they don't practice as hard as we used to. They hardly ever put on the pads during the season, shorts and t-shirts most of the time. But no, the game's changed a lot, and guys are having fewer injuries. They're having longer careers as a result of that collective bargaining agreement. So, but the mentality of guys that hadn't changed. You could ask any guy right now that's left the game if they'd do it all over again if they could, and every one of them would say yes. And even me, knowing what I went through after the game and everything else, I'd do it all over again. I mean, I love the game just that much. And I tell this story all the time. Sam Weish walked by he was my last coach in 1992. And he walked by my locker after the season was over, put his hand on my shoulder and said, "Randy, your services won't be needed anymore here in Tampa." And, I can remember thinking, wow, that's how it's over. All the blood, sweat, and tears that I've left on football fields all over this country. And that's how it ends. A coach that I've only had for like a year who, doesn't even stop and look me in the eye like a man and say, my career is over. And I had hurt my ankle that year, and I was still hurting at that time. And I knew that it was over because I couldn't go try out for anybody else. And I can remember just raking everything into out of my locker into a black trash bag and walking out the back door. And Randy Grimes, the football player, didn't exist anymore. And the reason I bring that up is because when I didn't have that playbook anymore, or that jersey, that identity, that I didn't. When I didn't have all that anymore, I wasn't Randy Grimes, the football player. I really spiraled out of control because I already had this raging addiction going. And now the fact that you take away my identity was just throwing gasoline on a already raging dumpster fire.
It's amazing because our viewers say, because we've only been on air in Nevada a couple months, and I'm getting mail from the viewers. They're like, "Rod, you have the most interesting guests." Yes, I do. We had Sarah Palin yesterday, just so you know, Randy. But here's the thing. I chaired a meeting last night in Patch Reef Park here in Boca Raton, Florida. And the topic was identities. And it knocked people off their chair. Right? So can you, how long did it take you to get over that if you have at all?
Yeah, I don't think you ever get over it. I mean, that's who you are. And I talk about it a lot with the guys that I work with today. I even came up with a term for it, and that's transitional trauma. Everybody wants to say that addiction is based in trauma, and I agree to some extent. But transitional trauma, and it doesn't have to be an athlete losing their uniform. It could be a first responder. It could be a veteran. It could be a CEO who retires and the retirement's not everything he thought it would be. It could be broken marriages. It could be college kids that are graduating from college and can't find a job. It's any transition at all. We as Americans, first thing we do is self-medicate all those feelings.
Absolutely. Well, when you say you would do it all over, I was smiling when you said that because I come from the CFL. I got a lot of quarterback friends that are dealing with post-concussion, post-career concussions, and they're complaining to me. And I'm like, would you do it again? They're like, yes, I would. 100% say they would do it again. But in your case, maybe you would do it a little differently. I don't know about the quarterbacks, but for a lineman and how you handle it, would you do it differently if you had the chance?
Oh, I'd definitely do it differently. Whether or not I could have played through all those injuries that I had without the medication, I don't know, but I would have certainly tried. Knowing what I know now and knowing that, it was going to develop into what it was, then yeah, I would definitely do things a little different. Just to spare my family from going through the things that they had to, my friends, my finances, my reputation, to spare all that from going through what it did because of the addiction.
Oh, great stuff, Randy. At least we have the opportunity to help people. One thing I find is the young people actually do listen. They do listen. They don't want to go through all that horrible. At least, and I know you're doing the exact same thing that I am, which reminds me, I'll get back to recovery in a second. But when you do watch the Raise the Flags series, I think it's like six episodes. How do you think you'll feel? Are those good memories or not?
Yeah, they're rather different memories. It's such a different team than what Culverhouse brought up. Culverhouse was all about making money. He didn't care if he won or lose or lost, and that kind of that showed in the. I can remember standing on the practice field one day and looking around, and not a single first rounder was starting for us. And that just kind of shows what kind of bad drafting we did. And we just weren't. I always said they needed new letterheads, they needed new emblems, they needed new pencils. Everything about the Buccaneers needed to change because we were snake bit all those years. And it was all that Culverhouse mentality. And it wasn't until the Glazer family came in that things started to change. And even today, I think that it's almost like the Glazers don't want to have anything to do with the Culverhouse crew. They're all about everything moving forward, and that's okay. That's their team, but it's not like the Raiders who they worship their alumni. They celebrate them every year, several times a year, and other teams. Detroit does that, and they have a great alumni association. But the Bucks, no, they're not so much.
You know what? Yeah, I know what you're saying because you may remember Dan Goodspeed was a backup offensive tackle on the 03 Bucks. He's a friend of mine, lives in Land O'Lakes, Florida, and he said the alumni is not that big nor active with the Buccaneers for whatever reason. It's odd how every team seems to handle it differently. But Jeff, the Stampeders fan, writes in. He says, I remember when Vinny Testaverde was Tampa Bay quarterback. Did you play with Vinny? Who were your quarterbacks?
Oh, my gosh. I came in right when Doug Williams left. So I had one mini camp with Doug after I got drafted. And then he left. And then I had Jack Thompson, the throwing Samoan. He came in there my rookie year, and Jerry Goldstein. These are a lot of names that you're going to look back on and think, what? I had Joe Ferguson come through there. Of course, Steve DeBerg for many years. Loved going back to the huddle to Steve DeBerg. He was the best. He was the best in the huddle. And of course, Benny, my last 4 years. And Benny was a great athlete. He just, there was a lot of maturing that he had to do off the bat, and he wasn't really given time to do that. But what a great athlete, and he was huge. He was as big as us offensive linemen, and I enjoyed being around Vinny. But DeBerg was the funnest to come back to in the huddle. He was always joking around. He always kept the atmosphere light, and he was a great quarterback too. And Joe
Well,
Ferguson was a lot like that too.
Well, I'll tell you what, in the documentary, the very first episode, because I've only watched one, they went deep in the story of Doug Williams and what he overcame and being a first-round pick. It's well done. You've been through a lot, Randy, but I will just prep you. You might be triggered on the Culver House thing because they go pretty deep on him, too. He talked like he was a magician. We're going to build a stadium. We're going to do this. And they didn't win a game for the first 2 years, right? Like, that's why I ask what the memories will be like.
Well, and he did. He dropped the ball on the whole Doug Williams things, but he really dropped the ball on the Bo Jackson thing. And I can remember Bo Jackson coming in town right after Culverhouse screwed him over accidentally, or not accidentally, but cost him a lot right there. I remember Bo coming into town, and I took him fishing. And, Bo told me, I hope they don't draft me, because if they do, I'm not coming. And sure enough, we drafted him, and he didn't.
Oh, no. I think he got a phone call. Oh, boy. Randy, if you can hear us, hit refresh. That's what he's got to do, right, Producer Corey? Oh, there he is. We got you. Last we heard, Randy.
Sorry.
Yeah, you left us hanging. You drafted him, and he didn't show up.
Yeah, and he told us that he wasn't going to show up, and we drafted him anyway. We wasted a whole first-round pick on that guy. And sure enough, he didn't come, and there we are again without a first-round pick.
Well, they did interview the personnel guys as well, so you'll find it very interesting. In the time we have left, because your passion is much or more for recovery and football, they're both very high in your life. Tell our viewers about athletes in recovery.
Well, athletes in recovery. When I came into treatment back in September 22nd, 2009, there was absolutely nothing out there for former professional athletes. And so I went through treatment, stayed in treatment 90 days. I did the sober living. I did the whole thing. And after about a year of recovery, I went to the NFL. And, we started a program through the Player Care Foundation to start reaching out to former players. And, there was a lot of guys out there for whatever reason, pride, ego, guilt, shame, whatever it was, that wouldn't raise their hand and ask for help until they heard another player going through what they were going through. And as I got out there telling my story, hands started going up all over the country. I was able to help tons of former NFL players, but not only that, but Major League Baseball got involved, and NASCAR and PGA and pretty much every sport you can think of that has an organization that supports their former players. Those are the groups that I work with, and that's kind of God's way of keeping me connected to a game that I love so much.
Well, we have a vast reach and audience. If somebody's watching out there right now that fits the criteria of who you're helping, how would they get a hold of you?
Proathletesinrecovery.org. Go on that website. You can always get in touch with me that way. And listen, if you can't get in touch with me on social media, you're not trying very hard, because I'm all over the place, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. But go to that website, proathletesinrecovery.org, and check us out.
And you can look them up on Twitter and Instagram at Sober Center. We have like a minute and a half. The Buccaneers.
Well, good.
Are
I get
leading
to you let me plug my book then.
Please do.
I've got the book. Off center. Let's see, which way am I going here? Off center. Randy Grimes. My family. We kind of wrote that book to kind of have an opportunity to heal as a family through my addiction. Coach Ditka wrote the foreword for it. I've got a lot of great forewords in there, and it's got something in there for everybody.
Well, it is a fantastic book, a great story, and I love those autobiography type things because it's kind of a how-to to find the road out of the dark. So, Randy, thanks for the time, man. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say how to not do what I did.
Aren't we all the same? But at least we survived. At least we survived and have the chance to tell others
by the
to
grace
not
of
do the
God,
same.
right?
All right. Merry Christmas, Randy, to you and yours and your beautiful family. I appreciate the time, man.
All right. I thank you very much. I'll see you in San Francisco, right?
Super Bowl. That's the plan.
Sounds good.
God knows who will be in the game. All right. Randy Grimes joining us from Houston, Texas. My Bills Lions pick is on the verge of going in the crapper. We'll be right back after this.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Well, that was a very fun and engaging chat, wasn't it, with Randy Grimes, the sober center, 1983 to 92 center for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and what a story. And again, you can get a hold of his book, The Sober Center, and that's the way to find him on social media. Thanks to everybody for listening in on that. I'll do a sports update here. We do have some entertaining comments from the viewers. regarding our poll question today. And by the way, a fun theme we've had through the show is, have you ever traveled a great distance to watch a player only to get there and the player doesn't play? Why are we talking about that? Because that's what's happening for my friend Judd, who's heading into Sunrise tonight. We're going to go to the game, Panthers against the LA Kings. He's hoping to see Bob. Bob not playing. It happens. I mean, he plays like 70 games a year. The odds are that he would play. Anyways, sports update for the Ultimate Fan Zone. The Miami Dolphins are benching Tua Tagovailoa for rookie 7th-round pick Quinn Ewers. Adam Schefter of ESPN reported it today. Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel said he was considering it after a 28-15 loss to the Steelers on Monday night eliminated Miami from playoff contention. McDaniel said the quarterback play wasn't what it should be. There is something going on within the Dolphins that isn't good. And I know most of you don't care, but they got to get it figured out. Tagovailoa leads the NFL with 15 picks and hasn't played up to that contract he signed in 2024, July of 2024. 4 years, $212.4 million. I mean, when you're handing out that kind of money, you'd better be sure. Oh, I'm sure you've heard this, but the NFL playoffs are set for a major shift this year with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs out of contention. This marks the first postseason since the 1998 season without Mahomes, Tom Brady, or Peyton Manning. These quarterbacks have dominated the last 26 seasons with 42 playoff berths and 12 Super Bowl titles combined. The first thing I thought when I read that was, meh. And the story goes on to say their absence opens opportunities for new stars like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Meanwhile, the Patriots lost a 21-point lead to Buffalo, highlighting a season full of comebacks. That's the good news. This is a recap of Week 15 I'm reading. Cincy and Vegas both faced shutouts, a rare occurrence in the NFL. Not when it's the Bengals and the Raiders. Sorry. Breaking news from the football world today, college and Canada colliding. Rutgers running back Antoine Raymond was awarded the 2025 John Cornish Trophy today. The award is given annually to the top Canadian player in NCAA football. The product of, Raymond of Montreal becomes the first Quebec-born player to claim the honor. He ran for 1,241 yards and 13 tuds this season for Rutgers. If the name sounds familiar, Antoine Raymond, it should. He was a semi-finalist for the Doak Walker Award, given annually to the NCAA's top running back. And that is your sports update, proudly brought to you by Ultimate Fan Zone in Moose Jaw. Riders, Jays, NFL, NHL, you name it, they've got it. Rep your team loud and proud with Ultimate Fan Zone Sports Store. Shop now at ultimatefanzone.ca. 902-518-3033. Western Dodge text line. On the poll question, as I mentioned, from the account WHL 1986, watching on the streaming, says, in what world does the majority vote for Winnipeg St. Louis as the game of the night when you have a guaranteed lottery team in the Blues up against a possible lottery team in the Jets? Well, WHL 1986, you must not be from the Winnipeg area nor Manitoba, because what I love about this show and Jets fans is their influence skews our polls, and I'm here for it. Yeah, I didn't vote for it. I voted for the Kings and the Panthers. But that's the Winnipeggers for you. And Scruffy made the good point yesterday. Jets fans would know this because they're smart hockey fans. The Jets aren't cooked, but they're probably cooked when it comes to making the playoffs within their own division. But the wild card is not in anywhere, shape, or form out of the realm of possibility. Still got over half a season to go. But they got to start winning, and tonight's a must win. And that's why so many people have voted for this as the game of the night. Brent writes in, and he says, I tuned into the fourth quarter of Troy versus Jackson State. Good game. Both teams had a chance. Yeah, that was the Salute to Veterans Bowl. We'll be coming right back with overtime after this, whatever you'd like to talk about on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. All right, welcome back, everybody. It is overtime for our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. I'm wondering how Randy and Michelle feel about us naming Calgary 31st in our top five, bottom five earlier on in the show. Well, they wouldn't be surprised. Just look at the standings. Eesh, tough year for a lot of Western Canadian hockey fans. But again, tonight I should get to the picks here, and I will. There are only 5 games in the National Hockey League, but you're looking for something to do. The kids are driving you nuts, especially over the Christmas break. Drop them off at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary and thank me later. 28th Street Northeast. It's an amusement park for hockey players. Your kids will love it. I'll never steer you wrong. Oh, just before the picks, and I'll probably come back on more viewer comments in a second, but Kirk writes in on the Western Dodge text line at 902-518-3033, and he says, "Hey, Rod, Kirk from Toronto here. Ontario Premier Doug Ford won't be spending part of the winter in Florida anymore because of Trump's tariffs. Governor DeSantis says, enjoy the snow." I got to be honest, I hear that kind of stuff all the time. I was buying a sweater, believe it or not, in Macy's about a month ago, paying for it with a Canadian credit card. And the guy behind the till says, "Oh, haven't seen a lot of you guys around here this year. And I said, you guys? And he says, Canadians. And I said, oh, I'm Canadian, but I live here. But yeah, there's a lot less Canadians coming to Florida, and that's about as far as I'm interested in going down that road. We don't talk politics here. But we do like people. Still basking in the glow of yesterday's interview with Sarah Palin and Ron Duguay. That was fantastic. Wayne in Winnipeg writes in, he says, the Seahawks-Rams game is for the division lead, so it has some serious implication. It looks like the Rams will be the team to beat in the NFC. Right, and who saw that coming? I can't and shouldn't be the guy, because it's a loser that goes and points out where everybody else is wrong or made mistakes. Why would you do such a thing? To make yourself feel better? Nobody had the Rams winning the division nor doing anything this year, getting to the Super Bowl. Come on. I don't know where Laverne in the Frontier City is, because he usually writes, I don't know where he is today, but he was keeping track of who all our pundits picked to be the surprise teams. Not one of them said the LA Rams. John in Edmonton writes in and says, I just noticed you have a Kansas City Chiefs helmet behind you, but you like the Dallas Cowboys. Where's the Dallas Cowboys helmet? It's not the Kansas City Chiefs. It's the Cardinal Gibbons Chiefs, the football team for which I announce. And I have very little Cowboy stuff. One hat, one pullover. I don't really like their gear. Got enough stuff to wear. I'm not going to rep them unless they pay me. Okay, the games tonight. LA Kings at the Florida Panthers. Panthers going after their third straight win, but they play differently when Sergei Bobrovsky isn't in goal. And he's not tonight, which we've talked about throughout this whole program. I'll take the LA Kings to win tonight. Psst, don't tell my Florida friends. Utah at Detroit. Two teams going different ways. Detroit's going up. I'll take the Wings to win. Winnipeg Jets at St. Louis Blues. Jets have to win this game, and for that reason, I'll take them. Carolina Hurricanes at the Nashville Predators. Don't look now. The Preds have won 7 of 10, but they won't tonight. I'll take the Hurricanes, who I had in my top 5 earlier. And the New Jersey Devils at the Vegas Golden Knights, which most places, I think, would vote that the game of the night. Again, I voted for the Kings and the Panthers. All of Winnipeg's voting for the Jets and the Blues. But the Devils and Vegas Golden Knights should be one hell of a hockey game. What else do we have here? 902-518-3033. Still enjoying the questions and comments from people about have you ever traveled somewhere a very long distance to watch a player and that player didn't play? There's been a lot of that happening. Rob mentioning he went to go watch the Bruins in 2005 at Calgary, and just before the game, the Bruins, I shouldn't laugh. It's not funny. Traded Joe Thornton to San Jose. Well, that happens too. For the college football fans, of which there are many, Brent wrote in earlier and said he was watching the Salute to Veterans Bowl last night. There's a couple tonight. The Cure Bowl, Old Dominion versus the University of South Florida Bowls. I love how they're doing this back-to-back. It's a doubleheader of college football bowl games tonight. 68 Ventures Bowl, Louisiana versus Delaware. And in the NBA tonight, just 2. Cleveland at Chicago and Memphis at Minnesota. Every time I see Chicago, I still think of Michael Jordan, as I said earlier. It was in hour 1, but very, very blessed to have a career in sports. It's not for the faint of heart, but had the opportunity to see Michael Jordan play in Portland, a road game for the Bulls, see LeBron play in San Antonio. Gretzky, Brady, very, very lucky. If you have the chance, buy the tickets, eat the cake, buy the shoes, take the trip. Life's short. No show Thursday, so we'll be back here Friday for a Football Friday, and I believe we'll be joined by Kevin the Medium. He is back from the jungle in the Dominican Republic and narrowly survived, but he did. And also Jim Barker will be joining us from the Toronto Argonauts front office, football guy, to talk about the bowl games, NFL scene, and whatever is up in the CFL. Jim Barker will be with us on Friday. So enjoy Thursday, and we'll talk to you then on a Football Friday, everybody. Thanks for tuning in and joining us here across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and across Canada and 32 U.S. states on our normal home of Game Plus TV.
That